The global currency reset will occur in incremental time stages. If Davos, Switzerland taught the aware community of planet Earth anything, it is that the value of a currency can change in a matter of minutes. The complete shockwave has not yet been heard around the financial world, but it appears the fractional banking aka the hedge fund sector was the hardest hit. Politically, the vibration has awakened Greece, with other European countries sure to follow. Nevertheless, whatever the intent of depegging the Swiss franc from the euro, it's changing the geopolitical landscape worldwide. Momentum is a very interesting energy in life. Although not visible to the human eyes, it's clearly there if sporting events are any indication. Take a football game, not soccer, for example. The momentum can be changed in a heartbeat when a team driving down the field is about to score, when suddenly a defensive back intercepts the ball and returns it for a touchdown. In hockey, the game can change on a dime when an attacking team appears to be in control on the power play, when unexpectedly a penalty killer from the defending team gets control of the puck, races down the ice to score a short-handed goal. Essentially, that's what happened when the Swiss said goodbye to losing money and freed their currency from the European Union. They changed the outcome of the game, and they may not be the only country willing to do it. But who is running the game, and who did this act of depegging a currency really benefit? The currency gurus were all over the story, and depending on which one is followed, they assumed the global currency reset could not be far behind. As per usual, ridiculously high rates were bandied about on the blogosphere, perhaps in the hopes of selling more worthless currency from sites that are not authentic. Whatever the cause, the solution is still common sense and patience. There's an old saying, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. However, try running that past folks who have been following the currency game for decades. Surely there are some that have made a living off of it, others that have struck it big, and still others that have lost their pants. However, the Swiss franc event demonstrated that 30% can be gained on a currency in virtually the blink of an eye. Many financial experts, not bought and paid for by the bad guys, have stated that the global currency reset will eventually be a reality, and that a specific Western nation in North America stopped the reset, again. Whether that is true or not, it's becoming clear the awakened public has had enough of central bankers and their hedge fund and fractional banking schemes. Naturally, the bought and paid for mainstream media doesn't cover it because they are owned by the same people that own the banks. Nevertheless, the financial landscape of the world is changing right before our very eyes. The next currency that appears to be ready to reset in value may come from Iraq in the Middle East. In this region, efforts have been taken to stabilize a new government and come up with a budget to once again play with the world in the game of economics. However, some kind of power struggle is going on behind the scenes, as the new leaders in Iraq cannot seem to launch their currency with a reality rate until the time is right. Nonetheless, they appear to be ready to enter the international stage with some kind of value from their Iraq dinar to trade their oil, gold, and goods with the rest of the world. They may simply be waiting for Greece to officially exit the European Union, followed by Italy, Spain, Germany, and France, so they will have a distraction when they go public. Once Iraq resets their currency, it should continue the aforementioned momentum with other currencies. Vietnam has a severely undervalued currency but may need more time to change values because China is still accumulating gold and continues to own too much debt from the United States. Once again, it's a time increment takedown of the old system to put in a new system called the BRICS, but is the new system any better than the old? One event that has to happen before any currency changes of major proportions are realized is the European Union needs to collapse, and it's well on its way thanks to Greece. Other countries are sure to follow, making the EU dollar, which covertly controls all European countries, slide into the abyss of central banking-controlled history. In the meantime, major countries around the globe are positioning themselves for the collapse of the petrodollar by creating Chinese swap facilities to eventually trade in the Chinese yuan. There are no coincidences in life, and these countries, many still under negative draconian control, are opening these facilities with little fanfare at just the right time. This suggests the grand theatrical display in the economic markets is little more than a shift of power from the west to the east. If not, why are the countries which are publicly against the petrodollar collapse opening facilities to trade in a currency other than the US dollar? What's in it for them? The hypocrites pretending to be against each other on both sides of the globe are positioning themselves to cash in on the collapse of one major currency at a time while they eventually and deliberately depeg the yuan from the US dollar. This will result in instantaneous gains of billions if not trillions of dollars in profits while most of the population sucks on their pacifiers in total oblivion to what is going on. In other words, not enough people can see the very transparent game going on by the elite to shift the power and therefore will likely not be in a position at the beginning to stop the transfer of wealth if they are not in a place to take advantage of it themselves, which very few are. Meanwhile, the bad guys in the West continue to pound on the drums of war, spreading their utterly ridiculous lies and drivel in their puppet-driven mainstream media to the sleeping masses about Ukraine while killing more innocent people. In addition, many economic, spiritual, and conspiracy sites make no sense at all as they predict the end of poverty on Earth, thus empowering humanity as they continue to call for the imminent arrival of the global currency reset. If one has been following, imminent must have a new meaning in the dictionary because their rubbish of any day now is mixed with "please give me your information because I have a better deal for you to exchange your currency," or "please purchase some extraordinary crystals from another world that will protect you," or "show us your true colors by joining the resistance movement," or "come and watch my videos, and don't forget to pay for them, because I am in the know." In other words, please give me all your information so I know exactly where you live, what your intent is. Therefore, because you see through the illusion, the dark will build a database of names to target for clandestine reasons when they have more resources. From any perspective, none of these gurus appear to be 100% correct in anything. So take the good with the bad and slide quietly along until the real hands are played. In a world so filled with illusions and deception, people owe it to themselves and their families to do this to make sure when the transfer of wealth happens they can be in a better position as the future unfolds. In addition, please ensure when this reset happens one does not mindlessly run to the banks and trade all their currency in, because handing the banks money is akin to handing chickens to a fox. Only exchange what is required to pay off debts. In addition, use currency exchange centers instead of banks as an alternative. If one wants a new house or car, use a line of credit from the bank as a means of down payments and then wire the money to the company through different methods, leaving banks out of the equation as much as possible. It's entirely possible the currencies will be rising and falling because the people or entities in charge of the planet have done this by design. In other words, a small time short gain for humanity that will result in more long-term pain. Mankind can no longer be duped as they have in the past, therefore the entities in control of the planet need a more advanced plan to make mankind feel free again when they may actually be putting humans into a much more cleverly designed cage. One can and must stay awake to ensure there are actually people with good intent and benevolent ets involved in the transfer of power, not covert malevolent ets called the Draconians, Greys, and Reptilians, which staked a claim to this planet long before humans were ever on it. One must be very careful in these times when it is claimed representatives related to an ancient Eastern family are here to help humanity when they could just as easily made a deal with the Western bad guys to stay autonomous. There is a public play at hand here to have the masses fall into a trance with a new leader from the East that is publicly showing their love for humanity when they have already stolen all the wealth from them in the first place. Is it a change of heart, or just a new, more powerful move towards deceiving the masses to get them to fight for them in the new frontier of military battles in space? If they have deceived humanity for millennia on Earth, what makes people think they will not do so in the vacuum of space? It is a nice and comforting thought that humanity is being liberated from the malevolent ets from the cosmos, but be wary and on guard that the possibility exists that any public disclosure of these beings from other worlds may very well be the allies of the people or entities in control of this world. This game of the currency reset may well be authentic, but it may also be pre-planned for our new controlled and programmed way forward because life on other planets simply cannot be denied any longer with the information available on the blogosphere. The currency reset will happen in phases, and the intent by the powers that be may be to put a few political sacrificial lambs out for the slaughter for the masses while they conceal the fact they have exponentially expanded their wealth far beyond what they had before. If humanity is truly to be freed, waiting for divine intervention isn't going to carve a path to enlightenment unless we take action ourselves and ensure the new powers that are coming up to give people a more fair system are simply not the Draconians which have been in charge all along.